Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the March 1st, 2021 meeting of the Romeo DDA. Lisa, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Tar,
Here.
Humphreys. Humphreys,
She's muted.
I see that. I can see her. Melzon,
Here.
Brandt, Rose,
He's excused. He's on vacation.
right,
Rose is here.
okay. Hayes,
Here.
Poznanski,
Poznanski here.
Parker,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
you have a quorum.
Okay, we forgot to do the pledge. Does everybody want to help me do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it
which
stands,
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Do we have anybody on here tonight for public forum? Nope. All right.
Kelly, is there anyone else here?
Pardon me?
Is there anyone else here?
Justin Parker's on.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
That was Hayes.
Yes. Roll call, Lisa?
All right. Parker,
Here, yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Melzon,
Yes.
Humphreys, Tar,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve February 1st, our remote meeting minutes, please?
I'll make that motion.
Poznanski support.
Roll call, Lisa?
Parker,
Yes.
Humphreys, Melzon,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
motion carries.
Poznanski, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, gotcha. I got you.
Up next is our treasurer's report. Carol, do you want to go ahead with your this month's report? Is she on here, Lisa?
Carol, unmute your microphone.
Tell her how.
Carol?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
We got the $45,000 check back from the Village. And we also got a $35 check back from our credit card company for a late fee they charged us. And so we needed to pay, we paid the AT&T bill for $68.12. And then we paid one paycheck to Lisa for $318.59. So I'm asking for $386.71. It's only been 2 weeks since our last meeting, so there wasn't a lot of activity.
Get a motion to approve the payment of the bills, please?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Roll call, Lisa?
Parker,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Woznanski, yes.
Rose,
No, it's for his tax.
Yes.
The business tax.
Hayes,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Humphreys,
Yes,
Malzahn,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
motion carries.
Were there any other questions for Carol for the other information she provided? No? Okay. Lisa, do you want to do your executive director report?
Sure. Did all the normal office things. Kelly and I did a remote meeting with Macomb County Planning for the TIF update. I emailed Amanda and John and Jeff the March agenda with the meeting login info. I reviewed all the install agreements for the DIA. Everybody has signed. All the agreements have been returned. They're looking at the press release right now. As soon as I get an approval from them, we will be sending that out. Should go to the record, and I will contact the Mitt TV and any others that you would like me, any others that you have suggestions to send it to. I've been looking at events that we could do around the DIA program, and I Spy seems to be something that could be popular. There's also been a couple of like bike rides, and they are going to have them at Stony Creek, and I thought maybe we could talk about doing something with the HCMA, maybe like a self-guided tour where they start at Stony Creek and wind up in the village, something on that. You know, just thought about that. Had a couple of emails about harvest days. We do have two vendors that, are on last year's, deposit, and I just don't know how to proceed with harvest days. And I don't know, kind of in limbo. So I don't know how to do that. And I did contact Ray about flowers. He is getting, I think they've already got them planted, if I'm not mistaken. So looking forward to seeing those. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Yep.
We don't have any funding requests this evening or committee reports. As Lisa said, we did have a Zoom meeting with Macomb County Economic and Planning. And tonight we have a guest that is going to do a presentation on our TIF plan. Her name is Amanda Minato. And if you're on here, Amanda, you're open to start.
Thank you, Kelly. Just before I start, Lisa, did you send my proposal and timeline to the rest of the DDA?
Yes, they all have it.
Okay, great. I was going to share my screen, but if everyone has it in front of them, then that's, I won't need to do that then. So thank you guys for having me on the call tonight and giving me the opportunity to present our proposal. As Kelly said, my name is Amanda Minato, and I am the Director of Community Planning in Planning and Economic Development. And I believe John Kokazi is also on the call tonight, and he is my coworker. He is a senior planner in the Community Planning Division, and John will be working closely with me on this project as well. So your current DDA and TIF plan is set to expire in June. So the state of Michigan will require that to be updated if you're going to continue with an established DDA district. So we met with Lisa and Kelly to talk about us possibly helping you guys update your plan and making sure it's compliant so that you can continue to extend your DDA. So the good news is that your current DDA plan is in great shape and it's entirely compliant with the current requirements. So basically what we would do is review your current plan and make sure that all of the information is up to date. And then from there, we'd like to kind of update the layout, which would include updating maps and photos, as well as including some information about the DDA and the community, perhaps adding a demographic section and a land use section, and then developing a more comprehensive goals and objectives section, which would include future programs and projects that you want to accomplish in your DDA. And for reference, we've worked with the city of Richmond and New Baltimore to update their DDA and TIF plans. So we've worked with those communities in the past and have experience doing this. And John and I would basically work on your DDA plan which is more of the narrative section, which, like I said, includes history on your DDA and goals and objectives and projects that you wish to accomplish. There's also the TIF side of the plan, which is the tax increment financing section. And we'd work with the treasurer who would basically update that. And you have an existing one. It shouldn't be too complicated to just update that and then decide how far out you want to extend the DDA, which I believe we talked about 15 years or 20 years. I would have to defer to Lisa on that. But so our timeline for this is about 4 months. So it's kind of quick. But like I said, that shouldn't be a problem. We would basically plan on attending your DDA meetings through the months of April, May, and June. And we'll attend the Board of Trustees meeting in May, which is when we plan on holding the public hearing. Our plan is to kind of develop an online public survey. Because of COVID and everything, we don't know if it's a great idea to have like a public workshop, which is what we would typically do. But if we did a public survey, which we could post on your website and social media pages and get some feedback on what the public would like to see happen with DDA dollars. So if there's specific events they'd like to see happen, updates to your downtown, things like that, we'd basically put that out for about 2 weeks. And then our goal is, I believe, to do that in mid to late March so that we could get all the feedback back before your April meeting, which is where we would kind of hold the visioning session. And I believe Kelly mentioned you kind of already have plans for a goals and objectives meeting happening in April. So we would attend that and help facilitate it for you and take notes so that we can kind of get a concise list of all the goals and objectives you wish to accomplish in your plan. So what we would like to do is in the proposal is my email and John's. And if you guys have specific questions that you would like included in the survey, we would love to have you send those to us. And what we'll do is kind of put up a draft, send it out to you guys, and work with Kelly and Lisa to develop those questions. And then, like I said, get that out, on the mid to late March timeline. And then, so our goal would be to have a draft plan to you by May. So we would present that to you at your May meeting. And if you guys are good to go with that, then we would have the public hearing at the May 17th Board of Trustees meeting, which then that would give us plenty of time to make any adjustments that any feedback we get from the Board of Trustees or the public would give us about a month of leeway so that at the June meetings, we would get that approved and have no problem with it. And we would also encourage the Board of Trustees to attend the April visioning session meeting because it's always good to have them there so that we can get their feedback and make sure everything is included in the plan too. So let me just pull up the proposal. So basically, our proposal includes us attending 3 meetings virtually, 1 board meeting in person, 1 in-person workshop, developing an online survey, and then a digital copy of the DDA plan, which we prepare using Adobe Creative Suite, which would include tables, maps, photographs, illustrations, our GIS system, all of that. So we would have our professional graphics person develop the plan for you, and it would be very high quality. He does a great job with it. We're looking at about $2,400 for our services. And then if you wanted any additional meetings, there would be $250 for additional stakeholder community meetings. But like I said, with how things are going with COVID and everything being virtual, I don't foresee too much of a need for any additional in-person meetings, especially in this short time frame. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Like I said, if you guys wanted to see any examples of past plans we've done, we've also worked with the City of Centerland on their Parks and Recreation Plan, the City of New Baltimore on their Parks Plan. We've updated master plans for the Village of New Haven and the City of Utica. So John and I have done a wide range of plans and worked in community planning for a cumulative 15 years together. So we'd be very excited to work with you guys on this and feel like we can definitely get a good plan created by your June timeframe. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have or hear any feedback from what you'd like to see or what you'd like to see happen at the April visioning session. Definitely just looking forward to working with you guys on this if you will, decide to move forward with us. So I appreciate the time to speak to you today. So thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. I have a quick question for you. How does the DDA TIF plan usually work in conjunction with village or a municipality's master plan? Because I believe we're in the process of updating that for the Village of Romeo. So are we going to be is this going to be short-sighted if we're doing a TIF plan now without knowing the updated master plan for the village? Is this something that's going to now have to be updated once again once that is implemented?
I don't believe so. So Steve Casson is updating your guys' master plan, and he was my old boss at Macomb County. So I have a meeting set up with him later in March to kind of talk about the master plan and see what's going on with future land use and stuff. I think you guys would be fine because the master plan is more looking at like zoning changes, certain things like that, which I don't necessarily see happening in your DDA. We're going to more focus on if you want to see lighting updates happen, sidewalk improvements, more like physical changes that would happen in your community with the funds that you raise through the DDA or projects like it or programming. So, I mean, the good thing about this plan too is you can set up your TIF and look at the anticipated taxing revenues. And if new programs or projects come out of the master plan, it is easy to make an amendment. There's no problem with that. You just have to hold a quick public hearing, but you could add that in too. So I don't see a problem. I would encourage updating the plan before it expires because then you might run into some issues. And then if new things come out of the master plan, you can easily add those in from that. So I don't think it would be an issue. And like I said, it might be worthwhile to invite Steve Casson to that visioning session since he's working on the master plan. I don't know how far along you guys are in the process, but I think we could make it work so that we don't feel like we need to make any major changes out of what comes from it.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think you really want to have your TIF expire.
No, I've never worked with a community that's had it expired, so I don't know exactly what would happen. But like I said, it's easy enough to just add a couple line items in to make an amendment to a DDA plan. I would encourage just passing it, not letting it expire. And then if we do need to make some changes, we could do that for sure.
If I can clarify, is June when our current TIF expires? Is that what I heard?
That's what I've been told, yes.
So this timeline, again, we would need to move fairly rapidly. Is there a way for this to move any faster if, let's just say there's another month that goes by before we hire your services? Or is this particular timeline pretty much as fast as you can do this?
So you mean if you wanted to wait another month to bring us on?
I'm trying to find out the urgency in beginning this process right now.
I mean, it would be tight. It would be nice for John and I to basically start working on the basic information during the month of March. Like I said, the demographics, some new mapping, things like that. You could push it another month. We probably wouldn't be able to offer you as much in terms of a new layout and photographs and kind of more of the meat of the document. Like I said, you really could update it as is right now and it would be fine. But if you wanted a little bit more in terms of a list of programs and projects, we would definitely want to have this month of March, but we might be able to make it work. You just might not get as pretty of a document if you push it out another month. And
okay,
yeah,
just trying to get an understanding of the time frame that we're working with right now. And then this plan, and pardon my ignorance on this, it's my first go around here, which is required, obviously, and it's state regulated. You provide this plan. Do you do anything further with this plan, or do you just provide it to us to then take and whether it be website publishing or social media publishing? You're not doing any of that. Is that correct?
No, we would create it as a PDF, so an electronic document, which then you could just post to your website and social media and things like that. So yeah, we would provide it for you, and then it's up to you where you guys want to post it or what you want to do with it from there.
If I can ask more of a veteran player here, our current plan, where and how is that published?
That is located on your website, and it's just a PDF.
Okay, and I meant to ask more like whether it be a veteran like Zach or Christine, is that the only location where our current plan is, or do we have other use that we're doing with our current plan? Anybody know?
I'll be honest, I aside from it being on the site and I believe in the binders there, I don't know if it's being utilized in conjunction with anything with the village or how we're operating other than just being the required documentation that we
Right. So our requirement is to have and possess this plan, and then that's where the requirement stops. And what we do with it beyond that is up to us as far as publishing.
Well, we should follow it. That's
We were
kind
always
of-
going, weren't we going off the blueprint project before? Isn't that was always kind of our guiding force with how we were, you know?
It was both the blueprint and the DDA master plan. Obviously, you have to have an adopted TIF plan in order for the village treasurer to assess that tax, and the township treasurers to bill the residents for the TIF money.
Does anyone know, do we need to publish it? Village ordinances and what have you have to be published in a newspaper, period. And so do we have anything in that regard? Do we have to notify the townships that we're doing this? And do they have a right to object, or where are we on those type of things? Does anybody know?
In the timeline that I sent, I have a quick paragraph about the public hearing requirements. And so, yes, you have to post a public hearing in the newspaper not less than 20 days before the scheduled public hearing. So we're looking at an April 26th posting, no later than that, if we were to hold the public hearing on May 17th. So any and all taxing jurisdictions that you pull from to capture your DDA funds would have to be notified of this as well, and then the public. So at that time, theoretically, someone could come and oppose the extension of the DDA, one of your taxing jurisdictions, or a member of the public, and then that would be up to the Board of Trustees to ultimately decide approval or denial of the extension of the DDA. But yeah, so you do need to hold a public hearing, and the notification is 20 days in a municipal newspaper. And then they also want it at like 10 places in your downtown. It's all kind of written in that timeline that I sent out. So that's all there.
If there is an objection, it's strictly up to the Board of Trustees whether or not to heed that objection, or?
Yeah, the governing body ultimately makes the decision.
Okay. So we know we have to publish it in the record, and we know we have to give a 20-day notice. So we're getting to a pretty tight timeline right now.
Lisa, when was the last time that this was updated? Because I don't recall.
2007.
2000. Okay, so it's been well overdue.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I don't think we should really sit on this any longer than we have to, and I think it'll be good to have an outside perspective, somebody doing it who has done it before. I think it's beyond what we could expect Lisa to do in the position, because that would be really our only other option at this point to get it done in time and do it the right way. So I would make a motion to approve the Macomb County Planning and Economic Development proposal package in an amount not to exceed $3,400, which would essentially be their professional fees and cover us for 4 in-person meetings.
If necessary.
If necessary, but at least we're covered. And that would then, I mean, I guess we could package it and say that would also include the post in the newspaper as well, unless we should just save that as a different.
I say leave that part out.
Okay.
Do we need to identify where we're getting the money from in our budget?
Carol, I'm looking at it, and my first thought was, where did
I would support that motion just so we can keep going.
Thank you, Megan.
Would it be in our marketing plan? We've got, well, $2,100 for CBD events.
Where does Carol suggest?
Carol, where would?
She's muted. I don't know if she's talking.
Carol, can you unmute your
Since we-
it off. We
Since
have
we-
$9,500 in our marketing plan, and about the only thing we've used so far was a couple $100 for dues. And if we're going to do the arts and
Art and Wine Walk?
art and wine walk, that's 800, unless it's going to be more, Kelly.
Well, that's not even going to come up on this budget.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So we've got $9,500 available.
So I believe we're good with that. Lisa, can you do a roll call on this motion, please?
Yep. Hang on 1 second. Hayes,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Humphreys,
Yes?
Parker,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes, we're going to have some discussion on it.
Not right now.
Malzahn,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, is Amanda still on the line?
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, the motion was approved to proceed with your proposal, Amanda.
Okay, great.
We will thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to working with you and your department.
Thank
I
you.
have a few other questions if I could from Amanda. Can you tell me where the public survey questions are generated from? Do you have a standard list that you're posting, or are you looking for input of what we are envisioning so that you can get that out before our next meeting?
So I would be looking for input on what you guys would like to ask. We of course have a standard, set of questions that we ask for master plans, Parks and Rec plans, DDA plans, but really to be more effective, we would love for the questions to come from you guys. Or if you just have specific things you want to ask, we can better generate them. So like I said, my email is in that proposal. If you guys have any questions or ideas for questions, please feel free to email me directly with those, and we'll work on getting something together so that we could get that out by, like I said, mid to late March. John and I can work on getting a few together. I would say 10 to 15 questions would be all we'd want to put out there. So we can start with a few, and then if you guys send them our way, we'd work on getting that to you within the next 2 weeks or so.
Is it possible for you to get the list of standard questions to either Lisa or Kelly that she could then forward on to us, and then we could either expand on or add to?
Nope, no problem.
How encompassing yours are. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then if I may, my only question for you guys would be, are you planning on holding an in-person meeting at that April 5th date as sort of your strategic visioning session, or are you looking maybe pushing that? I just kind of want to know what we should be prepared for in terms of,
well, depending on
future programs and projects and stuff.
Depending on what Governor Whitmer allows after March 29th, we'd love to be in person.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. So, okay, that sounds good. We'll keep the April 5th date on our calendar, and we'll work with what we've got. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Amanda?
Not for Amanda, but Kelly, you will need a motion for the expenditure for publication of that. Once the public hearing language is drafted, Lisa can certainly get estimates, I think, from either the Record or the Macomb Daily, wherever she's going to publish it. But there is a significant cost to those, just letting you know. I don't know if you...
I have no idea what they cost.
On average, about $500.
Okay.
But I don't know how lengthy this wording is going to be. I don't typically draft them. Usually our public hearings either are drafted by Steve Casson or Mark Clark and then given to Catherine, and she takes care of that task. So I don't know, line inch, however many inches it's going to take up, and where it's published is all dictated.
So does somebody want to make a motion to?
Does that have to be done now or when that time comes?
Well, it has to be published 20 days in advance of your public hearing in a local paper. And if the public hearing is going to be done in May, so you're going to have to publish that before the end of April. So the language can be drafted, and she could probably still present it to you at your next regular April meeting for approval.
Wouldn't Amanda have a standard, whatever the standard legal notice is, available to us?
I could definitely pull something together and for sure have that to you before I think if you passed it in the April 5th meeting, that would be fine. And I could get something by that meeting for you guys. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions for Amanda? Nope. All right, again, thank you, Amanda, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in April.
No problem. It was nice to meet you all. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Do we have any board member comments?
Yes.
I'd like,
Go ahead.
yeah, Lisa, I'd be interested. You didn't vote on that, of course, but what's your thought of that program?
What program?
What program?
Of the one we just voted on, having the county come in there and do that.
You're asking me? Greg?
Yeah, I'm asking you as a director, as someone who's been in this professionally and does it all the time.
As a director, I think the county is the best option. They have the access to the GIS. They have the access to all of the documents. They work with multiple different communities. You're dealing with an incredible wealth of knowledge there. And, the publications are, they can get a little bit wordy, but I mean, I've done them. I've done quite a few of them, to be honest with you. And I'm sure I can work with Amanda to get the publications out the way that they need to be done. I publish stuff all the time. And, we can, there's other places to publish other than the Record, but the Record is the local Romeo paper. But, there are other options. So I feel like it'll be a very well done document. And again, they are a wealth of knowledge. And I think you will be very happy with what they produce.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
John?
Extreme fit to the village to have Steve Casson on retainer at the Village Hall, since he was so liked and in such a leadership position at the MEDC. Obviously, Amanda mentioned that he was her boss once before. And so him doing our master plan and still having those contacts at the MEDC really should help us with a very smooth transition through both documents, our master plan on the village side, as well as the DDA master plan. One of the other questions that I did have, and I'm not sure how it fits in, is there an opportunity to look at expanding our DDA district through this? I don't know if that's done as an addendum. I don't know if that's something that the board isn't interested in looking at. My thought was, I don't know why it was ever determined the boundaries of our DDA district now, but there's a pretty significant office district that extends to the south of us. It was just my thought of do we look to include that in the district at what point or not at all?
John, did you have something?
Yeah, I do have something, and it is, I guess, sort of ends with a question. We have been to a few of these wonderful Zoom meetings now, which I know we're all ready to get rid of here. But I've just kind of been gathering from listening so much. I guess it boils down to there's been a lot of really great ideas and suggestions and things made. And then we sort of need to make progress on some of them, I believe, this from what I've been hearing. Example, Christine last meeting brought up something that she noticed. I think it was out in Almont, where there were businesses that worked together and collaborated to help each other out and put together a program. And again, there's been some other ideas like that I've heard. nothing really moving forward in my eyes regarding the business and specifically the district. And I think that I want to see if there's a way to harness some of these ideas and see if some action can be taken. It's difficult when it's, a month in between all of us getting together. So this is the question: does it take something like a subcommittee of a few of us that want to discuss and put more of a structured plan together that then we can make better presentations? If so, I guess I'm kind of saying I'd like to head a subcommittee to put together specifically, maybe ideally a couple business owners, but certainly anybody on this board to develop some sort of a DDA campaign, I guess, for lack of another word, to put together to help the people, and specifically in the DDA area. So I guess that's the question. Is that what it probably should take?
That was my hope of scheduling a goals and objectives, that we would form these subcommittees to take
so
charge.
Is it a little premature then to bring that up? I mean, it's just everything keeps holding. And I know that the whole COVID situation is the biggest part of all of this, but I
think you can, as Christine said, what is it? No more than 10, but only from 2 households. So 2 or 3 people could get together.
Well, yeah. I'd like to propose a subcommittee to, again, the term I'm using, I guess, would be campaign, to put together some sort of a DDA campaign, which we can then present that might help move some of these ideas that we have together. And it's nothing to Kelly to replace anything like a goals objective, by no means. This is a smaller part of that bigger project.
Right.
That's what I'd like to ask.
Yeah, don't we have to, if we're going to form some sort of subcommittee, isn't that usually done with a motion and so it would have to be done in the proper way at a meeting. So John, we missed that boat like by 10 minutes or 15 minutes technically, but that's something that we can add to the agenda items for next month. I know it sounds like kicking the can further down the road, but that would be able to make it so we form some sort of subcommittee, what that's classified as, and how we can, and then who else is going to be on that subcommittee, because if we had something that just open to everybody, whoever shows up, we run into the issue of we could end up with a quorum, you know what I mean? Which we can't do without posting.
Do you have to form your subcommittees by a motion? Could you just not have somebody from the board volunteer to serve the committee?
At the chair appoint?
Pardon me?
Can the chair just appoint a subcommittee?
It typically is done, Kelly, through an agenda item where it's on your agenda, and then you have discussion, and then you figure out the plan or the action items, whatever those directives are, and then you ask for the volunteers to come back and do that. So, yeah, that's probably where it should be. You do have Justin Parker has his hand raised. He wants to speak. So I don't know at what point you want to allow him to do that, but I'm just letting you know that his hand is raised.
Well, John, I appreciate your recommendation and volunteering to head that up. I'd love to form that right now, but I guess we're going to wait until the next meeting.
Okay, so if now's the time, if I'd like to put that out for the next agenda. And then one more question, the goals and objectives, have we discussed rescheduling that? Did you already do that, or are we still just going to wait at this point?
We're still waiting on what the governor is going to allow us to do, right?
So as we did the last time, though, we scheduled it and we had to cancel it. Should we not schedule it in case and then cancel if needed?
You want to add that to the April meeting? Is that what I'm hearing?
At 5 o'clock?
At 5?
I'm fine with that. If it just takes simply bringing it up, or if we have to.
Well, we have
more
to put
of a
it out
motion.
there. You have to put it out there as a posted meeting. So let's add it to our April. What date is that? April the 1st?
April the 5th, I believe. It's the 5th.
The 5th at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, John. Justin, you'd like to ask the board a question?
Kelly? Making a motion to do that?
Oh, we have to do a motion to add that to the agenda?
Not for agenda items, you can just simply add it.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. When
Yeah.
are we gonna set up a time for the workshop for the budget?
What is typically the time frame of that?
Usually it's April or May. Because we have to have it done for the May 17th
We're gonna-
village meeting.
We're going to do it with our goals and objectives meeting. I think that's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be a long one. I don't think we have a choice. And if it comes down to it, we're going to have to do some of these things. I mean, maybe I'm being optimistic, but I feel like in April we'll be able to get together, but there are some things that are going to have to be done, like the budget items, because it has to go to the board at some point. So I say we just roll that all in together.
I agree, because doesn't that kind of project some of your items you're going to be doing? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're gonna do budget same time?
Yeah. April 5th.
Okay. Budget workshop?
Yep. Okay. Justin, are you wanting to ask the board something?
All right, I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, not so much a question. I know you guys were talking earlier briefly about communications through the online meetings. And I know you said you had a comment maybe from the public. Based on our new rules of procedure, it does state in there that members participating in remote meetings should or must respond with, I can read it, using two-way audio and video communications. So I just wanted to bring that out there for you guys based on the new rules and procedures that have been adopted.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, please?
Make that motion.
I'll second. I think you cut out there, Christine. Did you
say something?
I just said I supported. Yep.
Oh, okay.
But Zach, you supported before Christine did?
It doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Okay. Parker.
Yes.
Hayes?
Yes.
Malzahn?
Yes.
Tar?
Yes.
Poznanski?
Yes.
Rose? Rose? I can see him saying it. Humphreys?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.